Hey everyone, this is Nick with Living 904. Thanks for tuning in. Today we are greeted with our guest, June Carter. June is the president and founder of Just Solutions, working in interior design, home staging, and helping people get organized in every which way. Please welcome June Carter.
Hi,
June, thanks for being here.
thank you for asking me to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have always been interested in interior design and in being organized. And so I just thought it'd be a great time to have, someone who does this for, their own career and life. I mean, clearly you have a passion and interest in it. So, yeah, so I thought who better to have, and I know we know each other from a while back. So
hmm
yeah. Yeah. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Well, so just to get started, like, how did you get started into this?
I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Interior Design, and I spent many years in the New York tri-state area designing commercial offices. That was my career. It was my first love in interior design, and I still do a lot of office design and space planning. And I teach office design and space planning. In fact, I did the Amelia Island, Nassau County Chamber of Commerce's office, and I did the City of Fernandina Beach's building department's offices.
Wow.
So when we were moving here, it was about 8 years ago, and I was looking for how am I going to take my skill set and diversify? That's an important word, diversify. We'll be coming back to that. Um, what will I be doing here? I wasn't ready to stop working. I'll probably never be ready to stop working. Um, And I started to research professional organizing. I am a certified professional organizer, which is a lot more work than it sounds. We take this very seriously um, through the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. I am an accredited staging professional master through the International Association of Home Staging Professionals. And there's a lot of crossover between
Yeah.
staging and organizing. And through this, I became an instructor. I'm an instructor for Staged Homes, which is affiliated with aforementioned IHOSP. And I teach a 3-day course for accreditation in home staging, and I have become a certified life coach. A lot of people say they're coaches. I'm actually certified through the
You're
ICF.
you're legit a coach. You got the credentials.
Yes, and I tend to coach a lot of home stagers, a lot of interior designers, and creative people, graphic designers, and landscape company owners. And I am a certified coach, and I am having a tremendous amount of fun.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. So you've created a new career for yourself essentially, and you just keep moving forward with your, commercial spaces. And I guess that's really interesting. You don't think about things like that until you kind of see it. I know I've walked in buildings and they feel weird, and then you walk in one and you're like, everything just feels natural. I mean, I guess it's just something that you don't think about until you are introduced with that. I mean, how has that career been, transitioning I guess, do you do residential now or?
I don't do a tremendous amount of residential. First of all, to touch on this past year, I don't, in case this gets repeated, we're in January 2021. This past year, I really stayed out of people's occupied homes.
Yeah.
So I turned down a lot of residential interior design. That being said, the mess behind me is because my own house is under construction. So usually I have a beautiful venue for doing interviews, but this is the real deal. This is what it looks like
Yeah.
when you're under construction.
Yeah. Life happens. 2020 happened to all of us.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, you bring up a good point. 2020. I mean, in a lot of industries, I know my industry, and a lot of people's industries just changed almost overnight. I mean, how was it for you for 2020?
Well, before 2020, there was 2008, 9, and 10. And before that, there was 1987. And before that, there was the 70s. So my goal was to create a business that was going to be recession proof based on 8, 9, and 10. Those were awful years. And the recovery took years. Same thing with 1987. Same thing with the 70s. So I set about to diversify so that when stuff happened, I'd be prepared. And that also just one of the reasons I moved to Fernandina Beach, which is glorious and gorgeous and amazing, was because we tend not to get a lot of hurricanes. That being said, in 5 years, I've evacuated 3 times. And each time I lose a month of work.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to be in our businesses prepared for, and a lot of this comes out frequently in the coaching. So I keep a prudent reserve of X months of operating capital. So when it hits the fan, I can cover my overhead regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons for diversifying into coaching. Plus, I had a Zoom account before Zoom was cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of the work I do on Zoom, I've been able to do professional organizing, obviously coaching. I've coached people all over the world virtually. I've done interior design virtually.
So you
And
were doing virtual before virtual became a normal, before it became a push on everybody. You were already looking ahead to do
yes,
that. And so when this all happened, you already had everything in place. It was normal. It was normal for you. It was normal for your clients.
yes,
Wow. Wow.
yes.
That's
And it was because of 2008, 9, and 10.
wow. I loved how you put, I mean, recession proof. I mean, you were looking for, I mean, being prepared like that. Was it so like I was a teenager when all of that went down. So I saw it happening to everybody else. I didn't quite understand how it happened to me. Do you have your own business at the time as well? Or
Yes.
okay. Okay.
I owned an office dealership,
Hmm.
and that industry was decimated because nobody was signing new leases. Nobody was moving. Um, I stayed in that world, but it was a disastrous time. And by the way, I know you said you were a teenager, but even young people who are not, supporting a household, it's scary to hear that news every day. You
Yeah.
must remember. I remember in the 70s when I was younger, it was terrifying every day to realize that the world was collapsing around me financially.
Yeah. When it clicked, when it really, really clicked was I worked at a retirement community. I did maintenance through college. And I walked into a gentleman's home and I was just, hey, how's your day? And he goes, well, I just lost 500,000 in the stock market.
Hmm.
And I mean, I still don't, I know more now, but it was at that moment, it was like, it didn't even have a level or a grid. But that's when it clicked that
Right.
when, cause it was almost tangible. Like I knew this guy, we had known each other for a while. And so, now you designed a business to be prepared, I guess, for all scenarios. So 2020 happens and you just, okay, we'll just keep moving. I've got everything. You had your playbook in place, I guess. Wow.
Yes, yes. So um, the virtual work of professional organizing and coaching, which very often go very much hand in hand. I coached somebody in Washington, D.C., and I was able to say to her, okay, why don't you set the phone down for a minute, go do what we just talked about, hang up all her clothes, for instance, and then come back and we'll keep the coaching session going. That's body doubling. And I did that with people in Egypt and in France and in Oregon and Hawaii and all over the United States as a coach and a professional organizer. Um, and now for staging, so much of my work is done in a vacant house. If you have a vacant house, I will bring in all the furniture, accessories, furnishings, artwork, and set it up so that it is accessible to a buyer to envision themselves living there. So I'm in a vacant house. So I ended up doing a lot of staging last year. I'll also do staging for occupied houses where people are living in it. And if it was just two people and me, and we were social distancing and wearing a mask, and I'm going to be in and out in an hour and a half, I was happy doing that work. But last year, I did no deep dives into close encounters with any other human beings except my own family.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like you said, the diversification, you didn't have to put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, anybody could have been in a really tight situation and you were prepared. So, wow.
Highly recommended diversifying your business. Whatever you're in, if all your eggs are in one basket, when that basket tips over.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and did you find, I know I see, so I primarily work with realtors, and sometimes there's a hesitation to jump onto technology, and I get it because sometimes it's just complex. I mean, but like you said, you were using Zoom before Zoom was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking for just technology just to kind of like simplify your life? Do you think that's part of your playbook as well?
Well, time is money, and my time is my money.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to, in the olden days, go and get somebody to sign an agreement, a proposal in person. And now I send it via DocuSign. And I have just saved probably 2 hours. So I will use whatever technology there is to make everybody's life easier. And with a lot of senior people, that can be a challenge, and I will get on the phone with them and walk them through the steps, or I'll still go see them if they need me to. But whatever we need to move forward, be efficient. I am a certified productivity coach, and we want to increase our productivity and decrease the effort that goes into it.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, it is anything that can save you. I mean, at first I didn't like not going to the office. Then I was like, well, my commute is now 2 minutes and not 20 minutes. So, I get a little bit more in my morning. So
You look like you have a nice home office.
just this side. I'm not showing you the other side, especially you. No, actually, this will be. We're redesigning this as well. But thank you. Thank you. It's very nice of you. So 2020 is behind us. Thank God. What are you excited about for 2021 for you, your business, life?
Well, we're going to be able to travel again.
Yeah.
I got the first vaccine. I'll get the second vaccine, which I'm a speaker at the International Association of Homestaging Professionals European Conference in Lisbon, Portugal, which has been postponed twice. And now it will be in September, and I'll be speaking on time management. So one of my things that I teach and train and talk about is time management. So I just moved the airline tickets again, just moved so that kind of thing, the ability. Now, I said I teach home staging, which is just an honor and a pleasure. And there are many people through this past year shifting gears. Well, I'm like one lady was an event planner, but there were no events last year. And she very good skill set to switch into home staging. So I've been, IHOSP has kept me very busy. There's about 12 of us trainers internationally. And that I used to have to get on a plane and go to Indianapolis or drive 7 hours out to the Panhandle. And now, like you said, I walk across the house.
Here.
Right here.
Get your coffee and
during a break, I can walk the dog and yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right. So traveling. Yeah. Same here. We actually were able to travel for our anniversary to Charleston, and and it's Charleston, it's supposed to be crazy busy, and it was like a ghost town. I mean, we enjoyed it because it was more private, but so yeah, I'm excited there too. So you've got some fantastic specialties, diversified, as you said. What's a current trend that you are excited to see about grow, or maybe you're just like, I need this to end now in any of your industries?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to focus I may answer that twice. I'll focus first
Okay.
on coaching. Um, Coaching is an idea whose time has come, and it's really exploded. If you're looking for a coach, please find somebody who is trained and certified. Coaching is not somebody giving you their opinion. Coaching is somebody walking you through a collaborative path to find your own truths for your own, to reach your own potential. Not somebody saying this is what you should do.
Hmm.
The explosion in coaching has a lot to do with, like, there was a huge explosion in therapy in previous generations, and now we
Hmm.
see a similar approach of, I want to be the best I can, and maybe I don't have to dig up all my childhood stuff. And coaching, it's also much less expensive than therapy, and much less upsetting. um, so so coaching has really come into its own, but I do recommend you find somebody who is certified, who can walk that path with you. It's not telling you what to do.
Interesting. I've, it's actually had I'm in kind of a coaching call of just, my industry and everything. And, we're going over everything. And I thought, wow, this is better than I expected because but he was telling me, he's like, how many self-help books are written in a year? And, so you just say collaborative. It, I've never thought about coaching that way. That's wow. Okay. Because usually it is just like, you should do this, you should do that. And it's, yeah,
Don't let
never.
anybody should on you.
Love it. And what was the other one you were saying?
Let's just touch on office design for a minute. That's going to change permanently. Some of us are never going back to an office. Some of us are, and it's also cyclical. Companies centralize, they decentralize, they centralize, they decentralize, and it's cyclical. But we may never see the same rates of being in an office. It may be part-time, but the need to stay safe in an office has taken on a whole new meaning. So the office furniture industry, the office industry is starting to bring in new kinds of air fresheners, and bringing in protective screens and surfaces that are self-cleaning and chairs that have bariatric liners that you can't get. So that's going to change forever. And little tiny workstations, like for call centers, are not always going to be a great. We may need bigger so that we remain distanced from each other. That's really going to change and be a full-time permanent change, which is not the worst. I put myself through college collecting delinquent tickets by mail and delinquent checks for American Airlines. And that was a great life experience. And we were it looked like that one of those movies, with all the desks, just a sea of desks and people working phones. One person got a cold, that entire office got a cold.
Yep.
And that we need to consider protecting ourselves against.
Yeah. No, and it's a good point. I mean, I was that guy that the martyr. Oh, I'm sick. And no, you should go home. And you're sick. No, you should go home. It's fine. Yeah. And then it was like, no, it's not that big deal. Now it's just like, no, protect everybody. Like, it's not about you. It's everybody else. And so, no, those are really good points. Yeah. Um, yeah, no, it'll be definitely interesting about commercial spaces, for sure. And like you said, it sounds like it'll probably be a good thing overall for that redesign.
Yes, I'm actually teaching a presentation on office design at the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals virtual conference in April. And when I submitted to speak well over a year ago, it was about office design. By the time it became a reality, they said, can you weave in home office design? So I ran simultaneously two case studies, one of an office in a house and one of an office in an office building. So
Yeah, nice. So what would be for you, what would be in your profession and fields, you know, a common myth that you just like right now you would want to debunk?
Oh, that my home stager is going to be mean to me. My coach is going to be mean to me. Um, those
She's a
reality,
charming person, everyone. She is.
I'm so not mean, especially with my clients and those reality shows. I know a lot of people have been on those reality shows,
Yeah.
both for organizing and all of the above. And especially coaching trains us to ask questions in a different way. So my coaching expertise has completely changed the way I do everything else. But if you look at those reality shows, they film for minimum 2 weeks to get a 1 hour show, and then they edit. And what you get is somebody who's presenting themselves frequently in an unpleasant way. And I frequently have clients who say, "Oh no, you're going to this. Oh no, you're going to that." And I'm like, I will never.
Yeah.
We will. No, we're not going to be mean to you.
It's a collaborative process, like you said.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. My mom was on the TV show and then we watched the episode. She's like,
Yes.
that's not quite how it went down.
Right.
It was, yeah. And, you know, she was showing real estate and I was like, so it was only 3 homes? She's like, no, it was like 12 homes. So,
Your mom is a real estate rock star.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Um, now what's, you know, and you've said some really amazing things. I mean, the collaborative process with coaching, you know, just some amazing things. What's something more people should know, you know, about your position, what you do, your industry?
So this applies to all of you and all of your industries. There is a process that we can go through of determining your needs and your values, which is really in a coaching setting, which is really like the beautiful parts of you. And one of the things that I developed myself, and it was my graduate thesis for getting my coaching certification, is a coaching workshop for entrepreneurs in search of an authentic marketing message using those needs and values. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're online in Publix and you run into somebody you want to talk to, which happens to me all the time, especially on the cold cut line, and they ask you, what do you do? Frequently, we're going to go bang, 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 and we're going to give a list of bullet points. But how do we really want to express ourselves? Our businesses are reflections of ourselves, reflections of our best selves. And I work with people to draw that out so that you will have a unique marketing message that suits you and your message and a reflection of you. Even if the guy in the desk next to you is doing the exact same thing, you're going to have different messages based on the beautiful parts of you. And that's what I'd like to leave people with.
Wow. Wow. I need to put that on a banner. That's fantastic. Okay. Any, so we always ask of any of our guests here, what is to you one of the best kept secrets in the 904?
In the 904 area code, one of the best secrets. I think I'd like to keep it a secret.
Okay.
No, seriously. Amelia Island, Fernandina Beach, Yulee, is a great secret. I talk to people all the time who say, "Oh, isn't that on the Gulf Coast?" And I'm like, "Yeah, right." I almost don't want people to know about it. On the other hand, I know that smart growth is inevitable, and we're for the most part dealing with smart growth here. There's much more traffic than there was when I first came here. It's much more diversified, which is always a good thing. Economically, we grow, but I'd kind of like to keep us a secret if it was possible, but
Yeah.
probably not.
You know, it's still funny because I ask people, I'm like, well, how did you find, because I grew up in Yulee and Fernandina, and I was like, how did you find this place? And you know, a lot of people surprisingly like, we used to come here when we were kids and go to the beach, and you know, that kind of memory, and they're like, well, let's move there. So it's, yeah, or you know, just drove through the area and they're like, wow, you know.
We found it in a magazine for federal government employees, which my husband was, for best unknown places to retire. And I picked up this magazine and I was like, I think we found it. And then coincidentally, my mother and father came here for a conference and played golf here in the 60s.
Wow.
And they had forgotten all about it.
Wow. That's awesome. Wow. Well, June, we really appreciate you being on the show. What would be the best way for somebody to connect with you?
My website is www.gyst.solutions. GIST stands for Get Your Stuff Together.
Love
So
it.
it's gist.solutions. Or feel free to, I'm going to put my phone number out here because might as well connect 904 524 7917. And I'd love to talk to anybody who's interested in any part of this. And by the way, you're a very good interviewer. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's, Larry King made it look real easy. So rest in peace. But no,
Yeah.
it's been a fun journey for me as well. No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, we'll make sure to put your details. Also, you're very active on social media. You're doing videos often, so that's a great place for someone to follow you. I'm sure you're dropping your wisdom and your everything you have there as well. So
Yes.
please make sure to follow her. And it's
June Convoy Carter, because June Carter, you're going to get a deceased country western singer. June Convoy Carter on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube.
fantastic. June, thank you again for being on the show. Thank you everyone for watching it and listening. And we'll see you on the next Living 904.
Okay, Nick. Have a great day. Thank you, everybody.
Thank June. Bye.
Bye-bye.